Now that you or an expert has determined that your firearm can be restored, how do you begin? What will you need? The following is a list of tools for preparing your firearm for refinishing or restoration. Since all guns are different, you may find you will have to add to the list, or you may not need every item. But generally, these are the tools you will need for the processes shown. Remember, it's always best to invest the extra dollars it takes to purchase better quality tools in the first place. A good source of these in all tools shown is Brownells.
A good quality heavy-duty vise is probably the single most important tool you're going to use. Be sure to use a good padded jaw and to be careful how you place the part in the vise. You want to make sure any open areas aren't going to be crushed. Hold the part firmly, but not too tight. You also want to make sure that your vise is firmly mounted, so it's not going to move around a lot when you're working on your part. You need to be very aware of thin or unsupported areas on the part you're working on. Even applying only moderate pressure in a vise, it's easy to destroy a part.
Before you begin working on your firearm, it's important to protect any engraved or stamped areas. Covering them with tape and polishing up to but not over the area is the preferred method. However, when the engraved areas are polished, they will need to be recut by an engraver. The pattern he uses is called a lift or pull and is taken from the firearm before any polishing is done. This will ensure the best possible reproduction when the engraving is recut. Remember, it's expensive to recut lettering and engraving and make it look original, so be careful when polishing around lettered or engraved areas. You will need clear tape, inletting black, cotton swabs, and a sheet of bright white paper. Swab inletting black on the area to be pulled. Try to include shape and location markers such as screw holes and edges. Cover the area with clear tape and rub gently. Remove and place the tape on the white paper. Be sure to make a copy for safekeeping.
Right now we're going to take a smoke pull or an ink pull of a gun that has a little bit finer detail engraving and some shading lines on it. You want to make sure you can get these with a little bit lighter coat of ink so that all the detail shows up. Otherwise the engraver, if he hasn't seen one before, will have a hard time getting the cutting exactly right. This area right in here has some real fine shading in it, so we want to make sure that we don't fill those up completely. I usually have pretty good luck attaching it a little bit further away than the ink you're going to work on, otherwise it might slide and you'll get a bad pull out of it. And also I'll use something with a fairly hard backing. That allows you to go over the top of it and get that fine detail without pressing down into the engraving cut. Now right here you can see we have some real fine detail in on this rose. You can see a little bit of the shading in here, shading on these leaves down in here and on the petals. We want to make sure that we pick all that up. That'll make sure that when the engraver recuts it, he knows exactly what to do to have it match the original.
Some of the smaller pieces of the action may be hard to hold and polish at the same time. It may be necessary to build a jig so the part can be held in a vise while polishing. You will need small wooden blocks, Brownells Acraglas-gel, cotton swabs, and wax or release agent. Attach the part to the proper size wood block with the appropriate screw. Remove and coat completely with a wax or release agent. Then reattach the part to the block. Mix Acraglas-gel, a 2-part epoxy, according to the manufacturer's instructions. Thicker in consistency than regular epoxies, Acraglas-gel won't flatten out as it hardens. Build the gel up around the part and let set until firm. Then remove the part and let harden. Return the part to the molded jig and fasten down with the appropriate screw. The jig now holds the small part in place so that you can easily polish it.